My beloved child, do not be alarmed by the days when nothing seems to happen. In that quiet, miracles are forming that no natural eye can see. The walls you thought were obstacles are often standing as barriers against the harsh winds that would harm your soul. You have named them delay, setback, failure. But I speak to you now, not every delay is loss. Many delays are protection. The very hand of mine raised so that you are not swept away by things you are not yet ready to hold. You have seen others run. You have heard the sound of their feet on the ground. And your heart grew troubled, thinking you were left behind. But I say no one has left you. I have held you back to save you from a storm you did not see ahead. You call it slow, I call it wisdom. You call it waste, I call it preparation. You do not see the foundation being laid, you only see the roof unfinished. But I am the builder. I see the whole structure, and I know when the walls are strong enough to carry the weight of the blessing I am bringing. You hear your own sighing. You feel time pressing on your chest. But hear my voice more clearly. I am never late. And I am never early. I come at the right time. There are days when your dreams seem to wait outside the gate, like guests not allowed in. You wonder why the door does not open, why there is no sound, even though you have prayed for years. You think perhaps you made a mistake. Perhaps you failed. Perhaps my love has thinned. But pause and breathe. There are doors that, if opened too soon, would crush what I have placed inside you. There are blessings that, if dropped too quickly, would break the legs that have not yet grown strong. I do not minimize your blessing. I strengthen your soul so that you can carry it with endurance. A young tree cannot withstand a storm. And if I sent the wind early, you would break. So I cover, I shelter, I hold. And you call it delay. But in heaven it is called protection. A windbreak, the encircling of my hand. My child, I am not slow, I am adding strength in you. I am sending roots deeper, so that the fruit you bear will not only bloom but endure. I do not build you for a brief flash of glory that disappears. I build you for a steady life under sun and rain. And what I do in hidden places is not weaker than what I do in the light. It is foundation. You have asked me, why do others advance while I must wait, and I hear every question. But I also see arrows flying over your head that you do not notice. I see traps that would swallow your soul if you rushed into unguarded territory. I see relationships that are not yet pure. I see ambitions that are not yet shaped by grace. I see dangerous cliffs beside what you call opportunity. I do not hold you back to punish. I hold you back to save. There are paths that look smooth, but lead to a fall. And I will not let you slide into them, though your heart thinks that running is good. When you think you are not advancing, often I am pulling the enemy from your path, fencing him away, removing stones from under your feet while you think I am silent. I am not silent, I am working. My silences are not neglect, they are holy construction sites. Angels are building scaffolding around your soul. What you call delay may be my safety belt. Whenever something is precious, I do not hand it over immediately. I shape the one who will hold it before I give the gift. I want you to carry blessing without being crushed by it. I have seen many who received much but lost everything because they were unprepared. And I love you too much to do that to you. There are pains you carry not because I abandoned you, but because I refined you. When gold is purified, fire does not destroy it. Fire removes what is not pure. The years you have waited were not forgotten. The years you thought were detours were really deepening of roots. Do not assume that because you see nothing, nothing is happening. The greatest rivers often run underground before they burst into waterfalls. You do not know how strong you are until trials make you think you will break. And yet you do not break, you only lose what was unnecessary. I am preparing you for something greater. And greater things always require deeper foundations. I know your heart grows tired in waiting. I know hope sometimes thins. I know questions weigh heavily. But understand this, every delay in me has purpose. No moment is wasted. No day is meaningless. I use both rain and sunshine to build you. I use both silence and my voice to lead you. When you cannot see me act, remember a shield rarely makes sound when it blocks arrows. I have blocked so many things from your life that you will never know. I have pushed doors when you did not see my hand. I have stood in the wind so that it would not strike you down. Therefore, do not draw conclusions from silence. My silence is often protection, not withdrawal. Trust that I have not left you in delay. I have kept you in safety. There is something I want you to see with new eyes while you are frustrated that you remain standing on the surface. At a deeper level, there is movement you do not perceive. Down there, where no one takes pictures and no one applauds, the roots of your soul are pushing downward, seeking water, gripping the soil I prepared long ago. You see only that the trunk is not tall, the branches are not wide, the fruit has not appeared, and you conclude you are slow. But I see the roots intertwining, strengthening each day. If I allowed your trunk to grow faster than your roots, one strong gust would topple you. One criticism would make you want to quit. One disappointment would cause you to doubt everything I have spoken. So instead of grow tall, I choose grow deep. You call it slow, I call it rooting. You call it missed timing, I call it preparing the base. And before anything of yours is displayed in the sky, I always work with what is under the ground. Remember the years no one saw, the mornings you woke without clear direction, the small lessons you thought had nothing to do with your great dream. You thought they were wasted pages, but I used them as new rings of root stretching out, teaching you patience, faithfulness, and how to recognize my voice among many others. When you choose to do what is right though no one sees, that is root. When you forgive though no apology comes, that is root. When you continue to pray though no answer arrives, that is root. When you stand again after you fall, that is root. These do not make noise, yet they create the endurance you will need when great blessing pours out. A tree that bears much fruit must have thick roots. And I do not want blessing to break you. I want blessing to make you shelter. Thus there are seasons when I intentionally hide you so that your roots go deep into me before your name is spoken in public places. I know you look around and compare, seeing others like tall trees lifting above the canopy, sunlight catching every leaf, while you appear like a low trunk among the undergrowth. But you do not know how they endured their root seasons, and you do not know what I am preparing uniquely for your journey. When you envy another's height, you forget that what you truly need is not to rise faster, but to grow deeper. Height does not survive drought. Only roots that touch the water keep a tree alive in dry seasons. There are times when my grace flows to you, not through visible fruit, but through the opening of underground streams beneath your feet. Instead of a clear door opening, you are given strength to stand when no door opens at all. That is not punishment. It is a gift for a future you cannot yet see. For a day will come when the wind of blessing blows strong, and you will understand that the very seasons you called delay were the ones that saved you from being swept away. You once lamented to me, Why is my life full of small things? Why am I always backstage? Why have I not yet stepped into the place I dream of? And I did not mock those questions. I held them the way a gardener stoops down to touch a young stem. I spoke to you with quiet peace. Let me finish the work in the places you cannot see first. The silent conversations with me when no one knows. The moments you opened the scriptures in weariness and still whispered, "Lead me." The times you chose not to retaliate, chose not to give up. You chose not to betray your conscience. These are weaving together a spiritual root system that one day will explain why you do not break when trial and glory arrive together. Before I allow the wind of blessing to blow across your life, I will make sure your roots are deep in me, not in the praises of people. Otherwise, every compliment would become a breeze, every criticism a storm. You think you need opportunity. First, you need roots. Look back at the times you thought you were going in circles, thought you were lost only because plans did not unfold in the order you wrote down. But from my perspective, every curve has been forming a wide circle of roots, embracing not only your own life but also the souls I intend to reach through you. Temporary work you once despised has been teaching you to look at people with gentleness. Financial failures and closed doors have been teaching you to put your hope in me instead of numbers. Broken relationships have been teaching you to recognize toxicity and keep your heart clean so that later, when I place you in a greater place of influence, you will not use blessing to build what is harmful. Each experience is another root, and I waste nothing. You think you are not moving, but you are spreading under the ground. Only my map is not drawn with straight lines as yours is. While you count steps on the surface, I am counting the roots growing beneath. Under the ground before in the sky, roots first, then branches. Therefore, my child, do not rush to conclude that your life is incomplete just because you have not yet seen the fruit you hoped for. I am doing something great in the place you pay least attention to the deepest part of you, where it will be decided how long you can stand when the weight of blessing rests upon your shoulders. Understand this when I make you wait. I am not making you miss out. I am making you become. As long as you remain rooted in me, no time is wasted, and a season will come when I send the wind of favor, and the tree you thought so small will stand tall, its branches wide, its fruit abundant. And people will ask, "How can you carry so much?" And you will know the answer lies in the years that seemed like nothing. When I was quietly deepening your roots, you have asked me to open doors, to bring great things, to let you step into wider spaces. I have heard every prayer. But I also see the place you cannot. Some roots are still too thin to bear the weight of what you are asking for. A young tree carrying heavy fruit will not be honored. It will break. I do not want your blessing to become a burden that tears your soul apart. I do not want you to live in abundance while your heart cracks. So I delay what you think must come now, not because I have not heard, but because I am protecting. If blessing comes before roots are strong, that very blessing will tear you apart. There are beautiful dreams about which you think, if I had them right now, my life would be complete. But you do not see what I see from where my eyes gaze. Blessing is not only a gift, it is a weight. A new position carries new responsibility. A wide door brings strong winds. Abundant provision demands stewardship, wisdom, humility, and faithfulness. Fruit is precious only when the branch is strong enough to hold it. If the branch is young and the fruit too heavy, the fruit will rot and the branch will tear. I love you too much to let that happen. So I grow the roots before I send the fruit. People look at the surface and desire the surface. I look into depth and care for depth. There were times you thought delay was punishment. that I ignored you, that your prayers were left abandoned in a vast sky. But I have held blessing back for a moment, not because you were unworthy, but because I am making sure that when it comes, it will not break you. I do not build a large house on weak ground, for I know the wind will come. The wind of blessing is as strong as the wind of trial. People speak of blessing only in joyous light, but I know the other side. Blessing is a pull. It draws attention, expectations, responsibilities, praise and criticism, even jealousy and resistance. Without roots, blessing will carry you away. You have seen others break under the very thing they prayed for most. A ministry opened, but the soul was not deep enough to stand. A beautiful relationship, but the heart had not been healed to love rightly. A large inflow of money, but lack of discipline drowned them in debt or ruin. The blessing was not the problem. The roots were not strong enough. I do not want you to live in success while trembling with fear of losing it. I want you to stand in blessing with peace, knowing that even when the wind blows hard, you will not be shaken. I want your branches to be flexible, because your fruit will be many and heavy. So when I say wait, it is not that I want you to wither. I am watering beneath the ground. When I say not yet, I am not extinguishing hope. I am building endurance. I know your blessing. I wrote it in my book before you ever cried your first prayer. I know the fruit you will carry, and I know the winds that will blow through your branches. Therefore I strengthen the trunk before I send the wind. Believe this delay does not make you lose. It keeps you alive when victory comes. Many win quickly, then break in loneliness. I do not want that for you. I want you to carry blessing with endurance, beauty, peace. So when you think I am withholding, remember that I am holding you. When you think I am delaying, remember that I am preparing. When you think the wind has not come, remember that I am making your branches supple. One day, your blessing will not only arrive, it will remain. And people will marvel at your endurance, not because you were so strong, but because your roots were deep in me. Therefore, do not fear the season of preparation. It is not the place where you are forgotten. It is the secret workshop where I forge your soul to carry the very thing I am preparing for you. There are days when you look at the clock and each minute falls like a grain of sand to the bottom, carrying none of what you hoped for. You think, why not yet? Why still not, if not now? Will it ever? You measure by seconds, but I measure by seasons. You count days and weeks, but I see cycles of earth, of roots, of sky. My timing is not like your clock. I am not slow. I am precise. When I work, I am not driven by the hurried schedule of mankind. I follow a rhythm that is larger, deeper, more enduring. Every time you feel I am late, I am arriving right on time. You read 2 Peter 3:8 and know that, to me, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like a day, not because I am wrong, but because you are looking too closely. You want to harvest the moment you see the first head of grain. I want golden straw, full kernels, and barns prepared. You call it delay, but I call it exactness. When you stand at the end of a road and see nothing new, you think everything has stopped. But in those moments, I am doing what human eyes cannot see. I am turning hearts, arranging time, loosening knots, unlocking invisible doors, and preparing the very gates that people believed were sealed forever. A small turn of my hand changes the whole picture. You see nothing happening. I see everything nearing its peak. When you look around and see others running faster, achieving more, it is easy to grow sad and ask, "What about me?" But do not look at their clocks and judge your story by them. Every soul has its own rhythm. Every calling has its own tempo. Every season has its sun, rain, wind, and shade designed uniquely by my hand. No one walks the same schedule. No one needs to resemble anyone else. I do not measure you by speed, but by faithfulness. When you keep walking, keep believing, keep waiting, even when nothing seems to change. You are partnering with me in something far larger than yourself. When you think you are being slowed down, it is often that I am holding the pace so you will not collapse before the true summit. There are stretches of road that, if you ran too quickly, your lungs would burn, your heart would tire, and your soul would fracture. I know your strength, and I know when the winds will come. If you reached the heights before you could breathe with my breath, the beauty would not bring you joy, it would make you dizzy. I want you to arrive in peace, not in panic. That is why I stop you in places you do not yet understand, so you may learn to drink water, learn to sit still, learn to breathe. The one who knows how to rest will go farther than the one who runs in fear. No victory is beautiful if the heart is not whole. I want your joy to be unmixed, not tinged by clinging, anxiety, or the fear of losing. I want your blessing to be a true blessing. You often think that if I love you, I must come the moment you call. But my love does not cater to hurry. My love sees what you cannot yet see. I know the twisting paths ahead, the deep ravines beyond the peaks, the sudden winds that could sweep away everything if you are not prepared. So I lead you through arcs, through slowings that seem meaningless, yet it is there. You learn what you will need later. You learn to trust when you feel nothing. You learn to hear my voice when the others fall silent. You learn to cling to the promise when the surroundings are unclear. You learn to walk slowly but surely, not because of the world, but because of me. When you learn this, you can stand on the day of blessing without trembling. I have never forgotten a single prayer you whispered through tears. I have never brushed aside a quiet sigh. I have never been indifferent to those nights you could not sleep, afraid that nothing would ever change. I work in the dark before the sunrise. I turn the soil beneath the grass before you see a sprout. I stir wind through the roots before you see the branches move. When dawn arrives, you think it came suddenly, but the truth is I have been preparing for a long time. The sun does not rise alone, it is arranged by a long, faithful night. I work in silence before blessing appears. You do not see it, but it is more real than the light. My timing is not wrong, not late, not lacking. It is perfect. So when your heart rushes, remember I command seasons, not clocks. When your eyes see nothing, remember I have gone ahead of you. When you think you are slowing down, remember the roots are going deeper. I do not measure your trust by the speed of the miracle, but by how firmly your soul holds to me. The right moment, the right day, the right hour, the right season, not early, not late, not a heartbeat off. Everything I do is good. When the blessing arrives, you will know it was no accident. You will say, if it had come sooner, I could not have carried it. But now, I stand, and your joy will be deep, beautiful, and quiet. You thought I withheld what you desired because I was distant or forgetful. But my love is not like the love of this world. It does not indulge impatience, it shields and preserves. There are things you ask that I do not give immediately, not because I am harsh, but because I see what you do not. Your tender heart, after its breakings, still bears cracks. A great blessing at the wrong time could rush in like a flood, leaving you nowhere to stand. I do not delay the blessing, I delay to protect your heart. I build a flood wall in rainy season, not to deny water forever, but to let it come rightly, at the right hour. When you stand behind the wall, you do not see the currents beyond it, yet that wall is guarding you. There are storms I allow to break, and others I restrain with authority. Not every good gift is good if it arrives before you are ready. I care for your heart with the tenderness of a father and the wisdom of the one who created time. Do you know this? What you call delay is often called protection in heaven. There are requests I hear immediately but do not answer immediately because the answer would arrive faster than your heart could bear. You think you are strong. You think you are ready. You think you have overcome, but I see the delicate fibers of your soul not yet woven tight enough. If I raised you high before your roots were stable, you would tremble when the wind turned. So I keep you lower a little longer, not to shame you, but to strengthen your core. A young tree in the storm will break, but a tree with deep roots lets the rain strike its top and does not fall. I know when you need sun and when you need shade. I know when you need wind and when you need stillness. I value your soul more than any proof to the world that you are blessed. If I must choose between the crowd praising you and your heart being at peace, I choose your peace. There are moments when you want to sprint into the open field and shout, "I'm ready," but I see that you are still tired. Your breathing uneven. Your steps unsure. You walk a little, then gasp, then wonder why others go farther. But not all who start early last long. Not all who arrive first remain. Some climb quickly to the summit, only to come down early, their legs shaking, their lungs burning, their eyes unable to bear the light. I do not want that for you. I want you to enter your blessing standing firm, not trembling, not panicked, not losing yourself. That is why I keep the rhythm, why I slow you, why I pause what you believe is ready. I do not withhold because I dislike you. I hold because I protect you. Like a father stretching out his arm when a car speeds across an intersection you do not see. I place my hand before you as you rush toward a flood. That hand does not stop freedom. That hand saves life. You do not see the battles that take place in the unseen realm. There are dark waves I have held back without you ever knowing. There are attacks you never had to face because I built a wall before they arrived. When you thought everything was calm, I was standing at the shore, eyes on the water, hand on the gate. I shielded you from what only I knew was dangerous. You assumed only good things were being withheld, yet in truth, the bad was also being stopped. If I opened every door to whatever you wanted, the floodwaters of the world could sweep you away. I choose what is true for your soul over what is quick for your feelings. You thought delay was failure, but delay was safety. When you could not see the wall, you thought it was only slowness. But when the torrent has passed and you are still standing, you will understand where my hand has been. One day you will look back and realize that the moments you cried because you had to wait were the very moments I saved you from yourself. Every second you breathe in peace today is because of the seconds when I blocked the things you once begged for. You will see that my protection is not a cage, but a field bordered with loving fences. You are not trapped, you are kept safe. I do not hold you back so that you lack, but so that you live. When blessing comes, it will not sweep you away, It will uphold you, and you will no longer tremble at the heavy rain, because you will know I am there. Then you will whisper, "Thank you for the delays," and that whisper will be the sweetest offering you bring to me. There are days you look at the clock and think time is against you, but the clock on your wrist cannot measure the deep movements in the unseen. I do not count with minutes and seconds, I count with seasons. I sowed what I promised into the soil of your soul long ago, and I have not forgotten that seed. Everything I promise comes in its season, neither early nor late. Abraham walked through long years, looking at his own body and at Sarah's empty womb, and he thought, "What is left to hope for?" But I had spoken in season, and when the season came, the impossible became obvious. You lost hope, not because I was late, but because you measured me by the rhythm of your fear. Yet I do not tremble when you tremble. I stand firm when you sway. I created time, so time cannot kill my word. I speak, and I keep. What I promise never dies in the soil. It only hides beneath winter's cover. You look at the ground and see only dust, but I look at the ground and see a swelling sprout. Sometimes snow lies thick, with no sign of life. Yet warmth lies beneath the surface, quietly preparing. I have told you that everything I promise arrives in its season. Those words are not poetic, they are strategy from heaven. If I bring blessing when your heart cannot carry it, the blessing becomes a burden. If I bring grace when you do not yet know how to hold it, grace will slip through your hands. So I let you wait, not to wear you down, but to build you up. Every day of waiting drives the roots deeper into the soil where I set you. Every moment you whisper, "Too slow," is a moment I am strengthening the inner supports that will hold you when the winds strike. You once believed I arrived late, but I never arrive late. I arrive at the moment only I can see. A child cannot understand why summer must follow spring, but a father knows there is an order before a tree can bloom. In the same way, you do not need to understand every step, you only need to know I am leading. Your season is not the season of the one beside you. Do not compare. You see others receiving their promises and think you have been forgotten. But every tree in the garden has its own time to flower. I have not forgotten the seed I planted. I have not forgotten the word I spoke. You are not lost among billions. You are seen every day. I have promised, and I do not change my mind. What I begin, I complete. There is a kind of peace that comes only when you know my timing is better than your understanding. When you stop gripping your own schedule, your hands open to receive what I give. When you set the clock down, your eyes lift up. You will no longer see each passing minute as failure, but as invitation. I invite you to enter rest even while you wait. Waiting is not empty. Waiting fills. I fill roots. I fill the soul. I fill endurance. I fill faith. When blessing arrives in season, you will not be surprised, for you will have been prepared. You will not clutch it tightly. You will hold it lightly, because you are not afraid of losing it. Everything I promise comes in season, and the season is drawing near. One day you will look back and see that the long stretches you thought were useless were the very paths that formed steady feet. The prayers that were not answered immediately dug a depth of faith you could not have built any other way. The months of waiting taught you to hear my voice more clearly than the voice of urgency. What you called delay was preparation. What you thought was silence was strategy. Everything I promise comes in season, and your season is nearer than you realize. You do not need to push, you only need to stay near me. When the season changes, you will know not by thunder, but by a quiet warmth inside. In season is my signature, written on every miracle. You often think that closed doors are a sign of failure. You assume you are being held back, as though someone were restraining you from moving forward. But there are hands that hold not to stop, but to save, like a potter who holds a vessel still soft, not yet fired, because one small collision could collapse it. I hold you like that. When you are eager to rush out, I place my hand on your shoulder not to punish, but to protect. I know where the winds blow harder than you can bear. I know the rooms that look beautiful but are not right for a heart still healing. You see limitation. I see disaster prevented. You see delay. I see shielding. Every restraint of mine is full of love. There are seasons when you think you are standing still in the dark, but in that dark, I am doing what the light cannot do, growing roots. I shield from wind, from cold, from the noise of voices that do not belong to you. When I place you in a narrow place, it is not a prison, it is an incubator for the strength you will need later. Those who do not understand will call it confinement, but the wise will see it as protection. I do not let the first storm of the season snap the tender shoot. You think things would be faster if you escaped my hold, but it is my arms that keep you from what would break you before you are ready. Here, in what feels like limitation, I do what no one sees, roots growing silent, but real. Sometimes you say, "Why not let me go? I can handle it." I hear that voice, and I understand, but I also see the sharp edges, the unexpected blows, the pressures you do not yet know, like a clay vessel, still soft, shaped but not yet fired. I do not want you to crack when life touches too hard. I do not want a careless criticism to become a lasting fracture. I do not want a great opportunity to become a load that breaks your back. I hold not because I doubt you, but because I know you better than you know yourself. I see the fine lines in the clay. I know where strength must be added. Restraint is not judgment, it is compassion. One day you will understand that not every open door is good, and not every closed door is bad. I close so that you will not be pulled into journeys that do not belong to you. I close so that you remain intact. I close so that your heart is not crushed under the weight of something not yet in its time. I do not let the testing storm strike you while you are still healing. You think I am slow. I am ripening the inner elements. I am shaping every curve, every wall. There is something you have not seen yet when I remove my hand. You will stand, not trembling, not collapsing, strong without strain, soft without weakness. That is what only patient love can do. When you sigh and feel limited, I sigh with you. I am not far. I am right where you lower your head, in the tears you do not dare speak of. I see your hands gripping the bars, captivated by what you imagine lies outside, convinced that outside is better, but outside is not yet the time. There are doors that are only beautiful when you are stable, if not. They are storms. I know when to open. I know when to hold. Holding back is love. Shielding is care. When I hold the clay pot, it is not because I fear losing it. It is because I love it. You are not an object to be displayed too early. You are a work forming in my kiln. There are days when your heart stirs, not because of disaster, but because of a vague restlessness you cannot name. No one has done anything wrong, yet your heart cannot rest. You think it is impatience, a failure of faith, a weakness that embarrasses you before yourself. But I tell you that agitation is not fear, it is the sound of roots searching for a way. When roots press deeper into the soil must break. The soil does not separate gently. It cracks. It shifts. It trembles. The roots ache, not because something is wrong, but because something is right. Some discomforts do not come from the enemy, but from growth. You thought peace was always quiet, but true peace can be a silent movement underneath the surface. The moments of restlessness, the times you walk across the room 3 times, not knowing what you are looking for, the sighs without reason, they are signals. Your soul is not still, it is searching for more ground. It is opening pathways. It is digging deeper. If you sat motionless on the surface and felt no disturbance at all, that would be the worrisome moment, because the roots would have stopped. But when your heart stirs, as if something is pushing against what restrains it, that is not rebellion, that is growth. Like a sprout pushing the stone aside, like a root piercing dry soil, like water underground searching for a channel. Your soul is alive. I do not blame you for being restless. I do not complain when you ask. When I only want you to know that restlessness is not failure, it is a sign. You once called it exhaustion, but in truth it is accumulated strength. I hear your footsteps pacing in the narrow room, the rustling of paper, the sentences you have not spoken. Do not be ashamed of this. You are not weak. You are pressing against your limits to go beyond them. Roots meet stone, and the roots ache. But roots do not turn upward, they press downward. Peace will come. But peace is always preceded by stirring. When you are frustrated by waiting, I am not unfamiliar with that feeling. I stand beside you, hand on your shoulder, and whisper, just breathe. Your frustration does not offend me. It only shows that you long for what I have promised. Longing is not sin. What matters is the direction of the longing. As roots do not grow toward the sun, but press downward into the dark to find water, so must your heart press into me. Do not confuse restlessness with failure. It is the sign of inner life becoming stronger. I do not want you to silence that sound. I want you to listen. One day you will realize what you called impatience was the urging of a new season. Like the roots tapping the soil, there is more. Go deeper. I do not stir you to torment you. I stir you so you will seek. Not to make you anxious, but to make you dig. That discomfort will become endurance. That waiting will become foundation. And when the fruit grows heavy, the tree will not break, because the roots have reached a depth beyond the wind's reach. You will step outward in peace. But now you are stepping downward in trust. Restlessness is not an enemy, it is a call. There are mornings when you wake and feel a gentle tension, like someone standing before a door that has not yet opened. Nothing around you has changed the same work, the same rhythm, the same familiar road, yet something within you waits. You call it delay. But I show you another picture. It is a birthing room. No one enters a birthing room disappointed because there is no child yet. They hold their breath because they know something is coming. Delay is not an ending. It is the breath before a beginning. The pain of labor does not signal death. It signals life. You are feeling the hidden movement of something not yet named. Gestation is never rushed. No one tears an unripe fruit from the branch. No one blames a seed for not being wheat yet. No one calls a bud a failure because it has not blossomed. I see you look around and compare your steps with others. I hear the whisper, am I late? I lay my hand on your shoulder and say, not late. Right on time. People come to the birthing room in season. No one schedules it by desire. For life is not born by human calendars, but by the body's rhythm. In the same way, what I appoint in you is born according to my time. not when you are restless, but when you are ready. Many think the birthing room is peaceful, yet they forget the quiet groans of labor. Delay is not stillness, it is deep work. I see the small contractions in your soul, the thoughts, the questions, the sighs. I am not angry when you sigh. That breath is like the groan of someone about to give birth, not the sound of despair, but of hope not yet born. Do not be confused by tears. Tears in the birthing room do not signal failure. They signal that the transition is coming. New life often begins with the wetness of tears. You thought you were left behind, but in truth you were set apart. The birthing room has no crowds, no applause, no stage, only breath, sweat, and a miracle forming. The birthing room is hidden, not public. There are blessings I do not allow you to see in front of everyone, because it is not yet season. I do not want those blessings to be misunderstood, pulled aside, or placed where they do not belong. When everything is ready, the door will open, and nothing will stop the first cry of the miracle. Delay does not kill the dream, it protects it. When a mother feels pain, those beside her do not blame her for hurting, they encourage her soon. I speak to you in the same way. Every waiting, every silence, every moment you feel slow, it is not decline, it is labor. No one views labor as an ending. It is the beginning. Delay does not push you out of the plan, it brings you into the center of it. When the season comes, all things will be born on time, not because you were strong, but because I was faithful. Now you only need to breathe. Keep your hand in mine, and know that what I have ordained is taking shape in the quiet. The day will come when you hear the cry of joy. There are hours no one knows. When the lights are off and you lie on a familiar pillow, your eyes open in the dark. In the daytime you are strong, busy, speaking, laughing, working, but at night, when silence lays over everything, the heart whispers what it held all day. I hear that whisper. I see the tears fall when you think no one sees. No noise, no audience, only a thin breath and a soul looking for refuge. You think you are forgotten, but in that quiet moment when you are alone, I sit down beside your bed. I am not far, I am closer than your pillow. Many times you have pulled the blanket up high, wanting to hide even from the moonlight at the window, as if any light would expose your weakness. You have grown used to hiding your tears, wiping them away quickly before anyone notices. But night is where truth comes quietly. Psalm 5:6-8 says that I count every tear and keep them in my bottle. Not one is lost. You do not cry into emptiness, you cry into my heart. You think the night is long, but in reality the night is a secret room where I tend the wounds no one touches in the daytime. When you turn from side to side, unable to find sleep because your mind will not stop running, I do not rebuke you. I do not say, you are too weak. I simply place my hand on your back, not with a loud display of power, but with gentle presence. You feel a light weight, not pressing, not forcing, only reminding you that there is one who is there with you. Your pain is not greater than I am. Your tears are not powerless. Every sigh is a wordless prayer. You once thought prayer had to be strong phrases and bold declarations, but sometimes it is only a trembling breath in the night. I hear it all. Night is not evidence that I am absent. Night is where I am closest. I know the questions you do not dare to say aloud. I know why there are times your eyes sting, your heart feels heavy, and you think, have you forgotten me? It is in the night that I whisper. I have not left you. I do not sleep. When everyone else rests, I stay awake. When you toss and turn, I keep watch. There are pains you hide all day because you have no language for them. But the night translates them into tears, and tears are what I understand best. I do not let them fall to the ground. I catch them in my hands. When morning comes, you wash your face, stand up, and walk out as if you never cried. Others notice nothing different. They have no idea what took place in the quiet hours. But I know, I saw that you did not give up, even in your weariness. I saw you choose to get up for one more day. You are not a failure because you wept. You are strong because you stayed. I declare, those nights are not wasted. Every tear is a seed. Every painful breath is a knocking on the door of miracles. I will cause what you have sown in tears to sprout, and the harvest will come in its appointed time. Morning comes, and you look around and see others walking faster, going farther, receiving the things you have waited for so long. In your eyes, they always seem to be called first, as if destiny favors them more. You give a small smile, keep standing in line, and in the deep silence of your heart, a tiny question rises. Have I been left behind? I hear that question without you saying a word. I turn my gaze to you, not with pity, but with honor. You are not left behind. You are held back, not to waste your time, but to match the time. There is a secret of heaven that human eyes rarely notice. There are some who appear to be at the end of the line, but when the call goes out, they are the ones called first. Your slowness is not a sentence, it is preparation. I hold you back not to shame you, but to reveal glory at the very moment it will shine the brightest. If you stepped out too early, the light would not be ready, the ground not prepared, the fruit not mature. So I lay my hand on your shoulder and slow your pace, not to hurt you, but to deepen your roots. While others move quickly, you are kept close to me. You are carrying something precious within you. Gold is never thrown carelessly onto a crowded market. It is kept in a secret place until the moment it will be valued most. I keep you as a master of the feast keeps the finest wine for the last. No one knows. But when the seal is broken, the fragrance will make the whole room hold its breath. If you understood this, you would see that slow days are not failure, but favor. Not everyone who runs ahead arrives first. Not everyone who moves quickly goes far. I see the long road, and I set your pace so you do not burn out. There are moments when I call others to go ahead of you, not because they are more special, but because you carry a different calling. You need quiet days, still hours where your soul can be shaped. You think you are ready, but I know the wind's waiting ahead. If I did not hold you back, you would walk into the storm without armor. I love you too much to let you go early. I know the time. When I say, the hour has come, nothing will be able to stop it. The place where you stand now is not a forgotten spot. It is a position awaiting orders. Look back over these days. You are not losing. You are growing. Deeper, quieter, more rooted. When others grow weary from running, you are still standing, unbroken. The last in line in the eyes of the world may be the first in mine. When I call, you will not have to rush. You will step out with the beauty of one who has been prepared, with no confusion, no fear. You will carry something that is not shallow, and when the door opens, others will be surprised. Why now? But you will know, because this is my time, not theirs. You have not been left behind. You have been held back so that at the right moment, you are called first. When you stand in the quiet, You feel as though nothing is changing. Nothing is moving. No door is even slightly ajar. You hear the sounds of an ordinary day, the ticking of the clock, the traffic, the repeated tasks, and your soul whispers, "Is anything happening at all?" I answer, without a sound, "Yes," but not on the surface. There are seasons without noise, without crowds, without miracles announced in the squares, but the ground beneath you is trembling softly. Roots are seeking water. The trunk is storing strength, and preparation is underway in secrecy, unseen by anyone. You think everything is still, but heaven is shifting. The greatest signs rarely begin with thunder. They begin with small movements no one notices. Like a tree growing in the night, you hear the wind, but not the sound of it stretching. Yet by morning, there are more leaves. Like a mother's belly swelling, no one knows which day life first began. That is how I work. I do not need a stage to show my power before the appointed time. I delight when you trust me, even when you do not see. Do you not know that your trust in silence is the most beautiful song? The notes of faith travel farther than the loud drumbeat of doubt. Deep in the earth, where eyes cannot reach, a whole world is shifting. Pressure is building. Water seeps from hidden springs, and unseen cells pull together into strong roots. If you quiet your heart, you will sense a subtle trembling like the heartbeat of the ground. This is not your imagination, it is preparation. You think you are not moving, but every day you breathe, pray, persevere, and choose to believe is another step into the territory of blessing I have marked out. I do not measure by noise, I measure by faithfulness. Your quiet steps are already etched into eternity. The seasons I love the most are the ones where no one praises you. No one applauds you. No spotlight shines on you. And yet you remain steady and deep, choosing what is right. Choosing a clean heart. Choosing to love those who are hard to love. Choosing to forgive when no one knows. Choosing to pray when no one is watching. That is where true strength is forged. That is where solid rock is formed. When storms come, a tree with deep roots will not break. A soul soaked in grace will not collapse. The strongest testimonies are not born out of loud shouts, but out of daily faithfulness in the quiet. Do not be afraid of the season without noise. Do not mistake it for a season of death. Call it by its true name, the season of preparation. There are movements that do not need sound to prove they are real. I am at work in depths your eyes cannot reach, and when suddenly the surface bursts into bloom, others will ask, "Where did this come from?" You will smile and know it came from the quiet days, from the nights of prayer, from the calm breaths taken in the midst of fear. You are not being wasted, you are being formed. You are in a process, not in a delay. Believe this, the silence of the earth is not emptiness, it is the sign of life going deep. Blessing is not only something you receive, it is a weight you must carry. People long for light, but few consider the weight of glory. A young tree cannot bear a branch heavy with fruit. A weak shoulder cannot hold a royal robe. There are things you have prayed for that have been prepared for you for a long time. But I hesitate not because I do not want to give, but because I see your shoulders are still thin. Your roots have not gone deep enough. Your heart is not yet still enough not to be swallowed by the very blessing you receive. A crown is not only beautiful, it is heavy. It presses on the forehead. It marks the one who wears it as someone who carries responsibility, no longer living for themselves. You have thought blessing is light, but true blessing always comes with a burden. When blessing comes, people will see you differently. They will expect things from you. They will come to you for refuge, and your gaze must be wide enough to see them. The richness of grace is not just for you to enjoy, it is for you to share. You think blessing will make you free. And yes, it will. But true freedom is not, I do whatever I want. It is, I know what is right, and I choose what is right. Blessing demands wisdom, demands humility, demands perseverance. That is why the season of preparation is a gift, not a punishment. I do not build a castle on sand. I drive the stakes deep so the walls will not fall. I see the times you dream of doors opening instantly. But I also see the times you tremble at the responsibility that would sprout from those very doors. I know your heart longs for great things, but I also know the weight of great things. Blessing is joy, but blessing is also serious. You must learn to bow before you wear a crown, to be silent before you speak strongly, to endure before you lead. The one who wears a crown without a strong neck will tilt and sway. The one who moves fast without deep roots will fall. You are not being delayed. You are having your inner weight increased so that blessing will not crush you. There are blessings that, if they arrived early, would break you. Like money in a child's hands. Like fame on the shoulders of someone who has never been tested. Like glory that comes before training. I love you too much to take you to a place your soul is not yet strong enough to stand. I do not want you just to taste blessing for a moment and lose it. I want you to dwell in blessing as a house rests on a firm foundation. That is why I teach you in silence. Train you in the season no one sees. And build your shoulders through each small act of obedience. Each time you accept loss without becoming bitter. Each hidden prayer no one knows about. When blessing is heavy, it is those quiet lessons that will keep you from breaking. Be sober. My child, blessing is joy, but it is also responsibility. It asks for your whole self, not just your feelings. It asks for faithfulness, not just excitement. It asks for a wide heart, not just open hands. Many want a throne, few want to serve. But in my kingdom, crowns are given to those who know how to kneel. The deeper the kneeling, the firmer the standing, the more humble, the more radiant, the more quietly faithful in the nameless season, the more glorious in the season of honor. Do not fear the weight. Do not run from responsibility. I will not place on you what you cannot carry. I am strengthening your neck before I place glory on your head, so that when the season comes, you will stand upright, not trembling, not losing yourself. There is something I need you to understand with your whole heart if your heart stays small. A great blessing will crush you, not because the blessing is cruel, but because an old wineskin cannot hold new wine. When wine ferments, it expands, pressing against the skin, and if the material is weak, it splits. You crave new wine, abundance, open doors. But I look deep into the wineskin of your heart and I know it needs stretching, softening, changing. Blessing does not only pour in, it stretches the heart. It will expose the cracks, the weak threads, the places not yet healed. This is why I prepare ahead of time, so the wineskin is changed and the precious wine is not lost. You think blessing is only receiving the good portion, but true blessing opens more doors than you expect. There are more eyes watching, more responsibilities, more cries calling for your response. If your heart is still cramped by fear, by bitterness, by unhealed wounds, then blessing will brush against those places and become a burden. I do not want you to panic when the wine begins to expand. or to lose sleep when blessing comes. I want your heart to be soft, like new skin, elastic, able to stretch, able to bear the pressure of grace. So, I lead you into a season of healing before the season of glory. I do not demand perfection. I ask for spaciousness of heart. Remember, this blessing does not break a wide heart. Blessing only breaks a narrow one. A wide heart is a heart that has forgiven, that has let go, that has laid down old burdens. If you still hold on to resentment, to your right to be above others, to your fear of being left behind, then blessing will touch those places and it will hurt. Not because the blessing is evil, but because the old cords still tighten. I have seen many receive what they asked for, yet they cannot bear the pressure of the very thing they received. They think they are cursed, but in truth, they just need a new wineskin. Glory always requires a suitable container. New wine is not poured into old skins. I am not slow. I am precise. I am stretching your heart. I am teaching you to sigh without complaining, to step back without bitterness, to wait without losing hope. Each time you accept a small loss, a chance to argue and win, a right to prove yourself, a flare of wounded pride, your heart grows wider. Each time you forgive without anyone knowing, your heart is stretched. Each time you choose love instead of self-defense, the wineskin is being changed. I know each of these costs you, brings you ache, tears, and weariness. But these very things keep you from shattering when blessing comes. It is not that I want you to hurt. I want the new wineskin to be strong enough to hold the wine. My child, I do not want blessing to just pass through your life like a guest. I want blessing to dwell as a host, for blessing to remain. Your heart must be enough. I am doing that work in secret. You do not see it, but I do. You do not fully understand, but I know. Every day you open your heart, though you tremble. Every small prayer in the night. Every quiet but faithful step, these are the threads that weave the new wineskin. When the wine is poured out, it will not burst, it will overflow. Its fragrance will spread, and you will know the waiting season was not wasted. It saved you from being crushed by the very thing you asked for. You have wondered why. In these recent days, the heat has felt stronger, the pressure tighter, the sting deeper in places you thought were already healed. You think I am pushing you too hard, but I am refining you. The fire in the furnace does not come to destroy the metal, it comes to remove the impurities. When gold is in the furnace, it does not know it is becoming more beautiful. It only knows it is hot. It is melting. It is softening. But the craftsman knows. Every flame is measured. Every drop of molten metal watched. I do not throw you into the fire and walk away. I stand beside it. And my eyes never leave you. I watch the temperature of your heart. I know when it is enough. When to lessen. When to increase. I honor your limits. But I also know your strength is greater than you think. Not every trial comes from the enemy. Some trials come from a loving hand, like a father teaching his child to walk in the yard. You see the ground as too close, the gravel as too sharp, the wind as too strong. But it is precisely those wobbly steps that make your legs stronger. I do not enlarge your heart with soothing lullabies, but with hard steps you must take in real life. Without a season of strong winds, roots do not go deep. Without a season of drought, a tree does not learn to hold water. Without the furnace, gold never learns to shine. You have asked to be strong. You have asked to be deep. You have asked to be steady like a mountain. and I have answered with days of refining. I know the stretches of time when you feel worn down, the unstable relationships, the unfinished judgments, the expectations weighing on your shoulders. The door's still closed, but look closely. Are you not stronger now? Are you not more sensitive to my voice? Do you not know better when to step back to guard your peace inside? These things do not come through theory. They come through days of real living. I widen your heart through trials, not to hurt you, but to make you enough. If I only gave blessing without the strength to carry it, you would be exhausted. But when I give blessing and also give strength, you will stand upright, with hands that do not shake and a heart that does not fear. In the metal furnace, the worker does not watch the coals, he watches the metal. I am the same. I am not focused on the smoke around you. I am focused on the gold within you. I do not measure you by the noise of the world. I measure you by the value I placed in you from the beginning. When fire touches, the impurities rise to the surface not to shame you, but so you can release what no longer serves the future of blessing. Old habits, old defense mechanisms, old reactions that are now too tight, no longer fitting. I will not let them stay hidden and crack the new wineskin. I allow the fire to touch so you can see, so you can let go, so your heart can be wide enough for what I am preparing. My beloved child, the fire I use is different from the fire of the world. The world's fire comes to destroy. My fire comes to refine. You are not being burned up. You are being made true. You are not being made worse. You are being reshaped. You are not losing value. You are gaining purity. When I blow on the fire, the gold grows brighter, not duller. In the same way, when I breathe on your spirit, you will not fear tomorrow. You will not shake before great blessing. You will not panic before new opportunities. You will stand as one who has been prepared, not because you are capable, but because I have trained you. There are days when you look around and everything appears still. No loud sounds, no obvious signs, no doors slamming shut or swinging open, just ordinary days drifting by. You think, has God stopped? Has heaven gone quiet? But I say to you, heaven never stands still. It is only that my movement is happening in a space your natural eyes cannot touch, like wind passing through the leaves, which you hear but cannot see. My work is turning in realms only faith can recognize. The earth seems still, yet the roots are digging deeper. The sky seems calm, yet the season is shifting. I do not need noise to act, and I do not need announcements to change things. I work in silence, and my silence carries weight. You are used to clear headlines, dramatic turning points, and visible proof to calm your heart. But in my school, the first lesson is this: do not measure my movement by the ticking of the clock. Measure it by the rhythm of trust. Not every loud sound is a true shift. Often, the greatest things happen in quiet. When everyone thinks nothing is going on, a seed does not sprout when it is being watched. It sprouts when it is buried and trusted. You look at the soil and say, nothing. But the seed from within is saying, I am opening. Your heart must learn to hear the seeds opening, even when your eyes see nothing. The day I change the season is not the day of the strongest wind, but the day of the first soft breeze. My child, I see how tired you are of waiting for signs. You count days, hours, every small change on the outside. You want to see with your eyes so your heart can finally rest. But I am inviting you into another way to rest your heart by trust, not by sight. There are nights when the sky is still, yet the currents of the deep are turning. There are mornings before sunrise when the atmosphere has already shifted. You do not need to see everything to know I am at work. Even while you sleep, I am turning hinges. Even when you are tired, I am repairing the road. Even when you stop, I am still going ahead. Silence is not abandonment. Silence is honoring the process. I know silence makes you anxious. You fear I have forgotten you. You fear others are passing you. You fear opportunities are slipping away. But look back at what I have done in previous quiet seasons, unexpected encounters, doors no one could predict, miracles that arrived at the perfect time, not because everything was noisy, but because I was precise. I lead you by the rhythm of heaven, not the rhythm of restlessness. My silence is not an empty gap, it is a construction site. If you could listen with your heart, you would hear hammers, chisels, the sounds of building. I am laying foundations for things you are not yet used to receiving. I secure the deep before revealing anything on the surface. In these recent days, you have felt a faint line of hope running within you, not flaring up strongly, yet never going out. That is the evidence. Hope is not a shout. Hope is the warmth of dawn while it is still dark. I light that hope in you, not to tease you, but to signal the season is turning. You do not hear the wheels, but the carriage is already moving. You do not see the crowd, but there are angel footsteps around you. You do not feel a strong wind, but the leaves are starting to tremble. When the sky shifts, no one catches up by sight. They only catch up by heart. What I am doing now calls for your sensitivity, not your panic, for your trust, not your pushing. My child, I need you not to confuse silence with uselessness. I am not abandoning you. I am not forgetting my promise. I am arranging the blessing you are not yet ready to carry. I am clearing the road before you. Quiet days are grace, not punishment. In quiet, what is weak is healed. In quiet, what is frozen is softened. In quiet, what is tangled is undone. When the season turns, I will not need to ask if you are ready. I will already have made you ready. When the door opens, you will not stumble. You will walk through like someone who knows the way. Silence is the necessary stage before the moment of bursting light. There are hours when your eyes see nothing new. Your ears hear nothing clear. Your circumstances signal nothing surprising, yet your soul suddenly feels a small, sharp beat. That is not anxiety. It is the heartbeat of something alive. I say this when your eyes see nothing. Listen with the heart. I have awakened. A spiritual heartbeat is not loud like a drum. It is like the whisper of an underground spring beneath stone. The hurried will miss it, but the one who pauses will sense the flow. You have grown used to seeking signs by sight, but the most precious things of heaven are rarely posted on public boards. They are hidden in the inner rhythm of life, and every time I work deeper, that rhythm grows a little stronger. You do not yet see the gate swing open, but you can feel the breath of its movement in the wind. Taking the pulse of the soul is not the same as checking the state of your circumstances. Circumstances can stand still, yet the soul can be pounding. Circumstances can be quiet, yet the spiritual heartbeat can sound clear. You do not need to strain to hear it. You only need to be honest with the movement within. There are mornings when you open your eyes and do not know why your heart feels lighter than it did yesterday. There are nights when you go to bed and do not understand why tears fall without a clear reason. That is your heart searching for a signal. I am using the spiritual heartbeat to call you home, to let you know that I am near. Not every change comes with a roar. Many changes come like a steady pulse, little by little, day by day, until the whole season has turned. I am teaching you to listen with your heart, not with your anxiety. Many times you sense what I am doing before you see it. You do not know what to call it, but you know it is real, just as one who takes a pulse knows there is life even when the eyes cannot see the blood. So you must place your hand on your spiritual chest and ask, where is this rhythm coming from? You will find that it does not come from worry, but from hope, not from panic, but from promise, not from lack, but from a wholeness that is slowly taking shape. I do not need to announce myself on a large sign. I announce myself through the beat of your heart. When your heart beats with deep peace, that is the sign that I am near. When your heart beats with gentle anticipation, that is the sign that a new season is approaching. Many people look for signs in the sky and miss the signs within. They watch the shadow of clouds and forget to feel the air shifting. They wait for earthquakes and overlook the movement of the seed. But you are the one I am teaching to live by spiritual hearing, to notice the small and understand the great. A mother knows the child in her womb not first by sight, but by a deep sensation. So it is with your soul. A new time is forming, and you can sense it through the faint throb of hope. Do not ignore those tremors. They are signals. They are invitations. They are proof that I am not silent in indifference, but silent in creation. Place your hand on your chest, my child, and breathe gently. Do not panic because you do not see. You are not called to be a weather forecaster, but a pulse taker. In that deep rhythm is my faithfulness. In that rhythm is my promise. In that rhythm is something being formed. When your spiritual heart beats with life, it is my voice saying, I am at work. You do not have to create the movement. You only have to recognize it. You do not have to open the door. You only have to stand ready. You do not have to see with your eyes. You only have to listen with your heart. You are not lost at all. Your spiritual heartbeat is the compass in the night. When you lose your way, listen again for that rhythm. It will bring you home. There are things you think are lost. Seasons you assume have passed in vain. Tears you believe have simply soaked into the ground and disappeared. But I say to you, nothing is lost. In my kingdom, every seed carries the memory of its season, and not one forgets the day it must sprout. On the surface, you may see only dry ground, but beneath, a seed is swelling in the quiet. You cannot feel that breaking open with your eyes, but your soul will know when the time has come, because your spiritual heartbeat will change. I have sown in you seeds of promise, of calling, of glory, and I do not forget a single one. Some seeds lie longer than others, not because they are weaker, but because their season is richer. Remember what I spoke in Scripture, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. John 1:2-4. You have gone through seasons that felt like dying, like being buried, like being submerged in darkness, and you concluded that you had failed. But I tell you that is not failure, it is preparation. What is buried is not abandoned, what lies deep is not forgotten, what sinks beneath the soil is not meaningless. In that very dark and damp place, the first stirrings of life begin to break the shell. In the quiet and the pressure, what I have planted grows strong. You often want to see results immediately. But seeds do not sprout while people are watching. They sprout when people think nothing is happening. What I am doing in you is the same. You say, I don't see anything new. I answer, because the new thing is forming below the range of your sight. You say, "I feel slow." I answer, "This is root season." Roots do not seek light, roots seek depth. And when the roots are deep enough, the season of fruit will arrive, and nothing will be able to stop it. You will not have to run after blessing, blessing will find you, not because you wrestled for it, but because you have become good soil. There are seasons when I keep you hidden beneath the ground, not to hide you from glory, but to hide you from the storm. A sapling standing in open wind will snap. A sapling held in the soil will grow. I do not hold back blessing because I am reluctant to give. I hold it back because I know that heavy fruit requires a strong trunk. You assume that the silent years are wasted, but they are the foundation. Without a foundation, there is no house. Without roots, there is no fruit. Without dying, there is no life. You must allow the seeds you thought were dead to die completely, because that very death is the beginning of life. You doubt because you do not see. I invite you to trust because I have sown. When I sow, I do not fail. When I place a seed in your heart, I see its harvest. I do not speak a word and then forget it. I do not begin and then abandon halfway. What I begin, I bring to completion. Slowness is not postponement, it is precision. Hiddenness is not weakness, it is wisdom. Only seeds that sprout in season endure. Only fruit that ripens at the right time tastes sweet. So keep your heart still, but do not let go of hope. When you sense a deep pulse, when you feel a subtle stirring in your spirit, that is the sign that I am near. The season of sprouting is coming. The seeds you sowed with tears will bloom with joy. The prayers you whispered in the night will become songs in the day. You may not know it with your logic, but you know it with your soul. I have been at work in the soil, and the soil will answer. Nothing is lost. Every seed I sow sprouts in its right season. There are blessings that do not arrive with fanfare, shouting, or trumpet blasts. But when they come, the very air changes. You may not hear fireworks, but you know the sun is just beneath the horizon, and with a single line of light the whole day will burst open. My blessing comes like that, quiet yet sure, gentle yet unstoppable, like a dawn that does not need the night's permission to appear. Night does not negotiate. Night simply retreats. Because dawn does not compete, it just comes. Light spreads from the far edge, little by little by little, and then suddenly the whole sky is bright, and you cannot pinpoint the exact moment of change. But everything is different. My blessing does not make noise, but it cannot be forbidden. No power can hold back the light when I switch it on. A new day does not begin with noise, it begins with the movement of light. You may think nothing has changed, but your soul will feel the warmth on your skin, as if something gentle is touching you. Not loud, not jolting, but a sure spreading, like a seed that has endured a dark season now rising into the light. Not boasting, but standing upright. So it is with the blessing I give, it stands upright. You do not need to hold up a sign. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to explain. When dawn comes, people do not have to convince each other that the sun is rising. They simply look and know, I do this for you. Not so you can show off, but so you can live. And when the dawn opens, you will realize that the most glorious thing is not the light out there, but the light placed within you. You will see that what was gloomy inside begins to dissolve like thin mist over a field, simply because the sun has touched it. It is not that you try to erase the darkness, it is that the light in you is stronger. That is what true blessing does. It does not push with force, it works through presence. People will look at you and say you are different, not because you have done something great, but because something great is at work in you. There is a sunrise in the soul that you cannot create by willpower. It only comes when I draw near. There are moments when I speak to the light and say, "Rise," and it rises. No one knows the exact second the night was torn apart, but you know, because your breathing changes. No more bracing yourself to hold it all together, only opening your heart to receive. Dawn is the time of lightness, of hope, of a sure beginning that does not need to speed up, does not need to run. The light walks at its own pace, and everything else must make way. My blessing comes quietly, but it is not weak. It comes without asking permission, but it does not destroy. It comes with the strength of presence, not the force of noise. My child, when I call dawn over your soul, no power can keep the night in place. The night may sigh, but it must withdraw. The shadows that once clung to the corners of your heart will fade, not because you have won, but because the light has. You only need to stand where the light touches. You only need to turn your face toward the dawn. From there, blessing will follow the softest path, spreading through every layer of soil, every heartbeat, every relationship, every night's sleep. No fireworks needed, no stage, no applause. Dawn is enough. Blessing does not come like fireworks, it comes like dawn, quiet, but unstoppable. There will come a moment, my beloved child, when you turn and look back and understand that the days you thought were wasted were actually stones paving the road. No step was useless. No breath was lost in meaninglessness. Every long night, every tired morning, every prayer that did not see an immediate answer, all of it became links in a chain so beautiful that even you will be astonished. You thought you were only enduring, but in truth you were being shaped. You imagined you were standing still, but your perseverance had become muscle in your soul. You did not know it, but each day of waiting added another layer of depth, another layer of resilience, another layer of light. When blessing comes, it does not erase the past, it illuminates it. Like when a window is opened and light floods in, you no longer look at the old room with sadness, but with gratitude for the walls that shielded you from storms in that season. You will look at the months that seemed pointless and suddenly see that I was building underneath. In the foundation. No one praises the foundation, yet it is the foundation that holds the whole house. Your blessing will not come on a weak base. It comes when every hidden brick has been set in its proper place. When that happens, you will exhale and say in your heart, "Every day of waiting had meaning." Sometimes I keep you in what feels like a slow season, not because you are wrong, but because I love you. I do not want you to climb the mountain too early and then look around and find no one there. No one who understands you. No one to walk with you. I also do not want you to arrive in a place your own heart is not yet strong enough to sustain. So I slow the pace, not to delay, but to protect. You call it wasted time, I call it formation. Everything has a shape before it has glory. Every beautiful work is crafted by hand, not produced on a factory line. You are not a copy, you are a masterpiece formed by my hands. One day you will stand inside what you once prayed for, and you will understand why I made you wait. You will know that if I had given it earlier, you could not have carried it. If I had given it later, you would have missed it. you will see that the waiting itself made the blessing sweet. Like fruit ripened after a long, hot season, the taste is not just sugar, it is time. No fruit ripens overnight. The fragrance of ripeness is the testimony of the waiting season. And when you take a bite, you will realize that not one drop of sweat was wasted. Every day of practice, every time you stood up after a fall, every time you took a deep breath and said, "I will try a little more," all of it has been gathered into that sweetness. You will be surprised at yourself, because when blessing comes, you will no longer be the trembling person picking up crumbs like in the beginning. You will stand with your back straight, eyes bright, heart steady, not because you are perfect, but because you have been forged. You will step into blessing like someone entering a house that has been fully built, unafraid of collapsing ceilings or cracking walls. You will receive with gratitude, not panic. You will receive with peace, not haste. You will receive as someone who is ready. And in that moment, all the days of waiting will turn into a song. I know there are days you want to quit. There are nights when you feel as if all your prayers have been thrown into emptiness. There are weeks when you are so tired you have no strength left to speak, and you simply lie there with your eyes open in the dark. But I was there. I heard your sighs as clearly as I heard your spoken prayers. I kept the tears you never told anyone about, and I used them as water for the seeds. Every tear became a stream, softening the soil. Every moment of weakness became a place for me to enter. You thought you were alone, yet not for a single moment did I leave you alone. When blessing comes, you will not only receive what you prayed for, you will receive yourself back, the self that has been shaped, refined, and widened to hold more. You will not only receive a gift, you will receive a new heart that knows how to keep it. You will not only rejoice for a moment, you will rejoice long, steady, and deep. And you will look at the years of waiting with different eyes, not bitter eyes, but grateful ones. You will say, "If not for those days, I would not be who I am today." And you will be right, because blessing does not only change circumstances, blessing beautifies the inner life. Days of waiting are not empty days, they are building days. You do not see the builder, but you hear the hammer in your soul. I am closing, chiseling, measuring, adjusting, adding, removing. When the work is complete, the door opens. You will no longer ask, "Why did it take so long?" You will whisper, "Thank you for not giving it to me sooner." Clear water is never in a rush. It flows steady, full, and sure. Dawn never screams. Dawn spreads. So it is with my blessing. When it comes, you will see that every day of waiting had meaning. Not a single day was lost. Not a single breath was wasted. Everything you thought was wasted time was a building stone. Everything you thought was delay was material I used to shape you. You will be grateful for every slow step, every long detour, every winding road, because they all led you to the place I had prepared for you from the beginning. When it comes, you will see that every day of waiting had meaning. When abundance pours in, you will not be swept away by it. You will not feel overwhelmed, frantic, chasing every drop as if afraid to lose it. You will stand steady and peaceful like a tree that has survived many seasons. The wind may blow, the fruit may be heavy, but the roots are deep. I made your heart large in the days of waiting, so that when the blessing arrives, it will not crush you, but you will hold it with a beauty that is unhurried. You will not shrink under glory, you will expand. Blessing will not swallow you, blessing will illuminate you. Some think that blessing makes people weak, soft, easily led astray. But my blessing is not like that. My blessing does not come to make you proud. It comes to make you sufficient. Not sufficient only for yourself, but sufficient so that others may rest in your shade. Like a great tree bearing fruit, no advertisement needed, no loud voice required. Only the quiet presence and its fruit becomes food for the hungry. You will not have to compete. You will not have to prove anything. Your peace itself will be the sign. My blessing does not make noise, but it has weight, and people can feel it. I do not bless you so that you tremble to keep it. I bless you so that you may live freely. Your heart was enlarged in fire, in waiting, in nights when nothing seemed to happen. Those very nights built your inner strength. When the blessing comes, you will not need to change tone or posture to preserve it. You will breathe as usual, walk as usual, but every step will carry quiet majesty. Others will look and not understand why they feel at peace just because you are present. That is the authority of a large heart, not a loud voice. The strong do not need to roar. The wind rests beneath broad branches. You will receive blessing without fear of losing it. You will carry fruit without fear of branches breaking. You will use blessing without fear of running out. You will give without fear of lack. Because a large heart is not built on storage, but on source. You know the source, so you do not fear. You know the giver, so you do not tremble. You know blessing does not come from effort, so you do not boast. You know blessing is not luck, so you do not brag. Blessing comes from my presence, and my presence has been in you long before. Blessing is only the fruit. I am the root. There were seasons when I allowed you to feel lack, not to torment you, but to teach you surplus is never the issue. Roots are the essential thing. I taught you to lean, not to strain. I taught you to endure, not to run. I taught you to wait, not to rush. I taught you to seek me first, not the blessing first. And these very things made your heart large. Now, when blessing comes, you will not panic because you do not know how to manage. You will not fear being seen. You will not hesitate to step. You will stand like an oak in an open field, strong, beautiful, spacious. A small heart is always afraid to lose. A large heart always knows how to give. A small heart clings tight. A large heart opens wide. A small heart competes. A large heart welcomes. I have made your heart large, not by instant miracle, but through quiet stages, every kind word you chose when tired, every faithful decision when no one saw, every time you let go of pride to keep peace, every step you took after me when you could not see the path. All of these widened the soil of your heart. Blessing does not crack that soil. On the contrary, blessing finds just the right place for roots to spread. You will feel something strange when blessing comes. It will not overwhelm you. It will feel as though it has been waiting for you for a long time. It will fit the shape of your heart, not because blessing was small, but because your heart had opened. You will not stoop under blessing. You will stand in it. You will carry glory without weight. You will live wide without losing yourself. You will walk freely without tripping. This is a beautiful paradox, strength in peace, not the strength of muscle, but the strength of roots. People will look at you and say, "How are you so steady?" You will smile gently, not because you are braver than others, but because you learned in a deeper place. You have learned to wait without becoming bitter. You have learned to endure without breaking. You have learned to open your heart to me before opening your heart to blessing. Thus, when blessing comes, you do not have to learn more, you simply live. My blessing is not given so that you tremble under burden, but so that you have quiet authority. Blessing does not swallow you. You stand steady beneath it. Because I have made your heart large. There is a sentence you have heard for long. You are slow. You are late. You are left behind. That sentence clung to your mind like fine dust, like a thin film that made you lower your head without knowing why. But in my eyes, you are not slow. You are not late. You are not left behind. You are prepared. And because you are prepared, you require time. Slow is not shame. Slow is foundation. Slow is not failure. Slow is strategy. I do not make you rise quickly, because a tree that grows too fast has weak roots. I do not display you early, because unripe fruit falls easily. You think others run while you only stand, but in reality, you are growing downward. Others advance outward, you advance inward. Roots go down before branches go up. That is not backwardness, that is the wisdom of heaven. There are seasons when I let you stand watching, like the last person in line. But it is the last who will be called first when the hour arrives. Not because you are more excellent, but because your time is the time I chose. I have not forgotten your name. I did not misplace your number. I did not drop your file among millions of others. Every file is open before me. And on yours I have written one word, prepared. There is honor in that word. Many times you blamed yourself. Why am I not fast like them? Why am I not bursting forth? Why can I not see fruit yet? But hear me deeply. You are not slow. You are being prepared. Preparation requires stillness. Preparation requires secrecy. Preparation requires quiet. The seed does not move on the surface. It breaks open underground. No one applauds the seed when it splits. Yet that is exactly when miracle begins. You think no one sees. I see. You think no one knows. I know. You think you are forgotten. I have remembered. There is no movement of your soul that is wasted. Every time you tear up yet keep walking. Every time you are soft yet still standing. Every time you want to quit, yet cling on, all are recorded, not to earn you medals, but to build your heart. And it is that heart that holds blessing, not the hands. One day, when blessing comes like morning, you will understand, slow is not failure. Slow is grace. Slow is protection. Slow is the shield that allowed your heart to grow large, that turned endurance into quiet strength, that lifted the head once bowed under self-blame. Stand tall, that is the image I want to place within you. Not defiant, not arrogant, not showing off, simply standing tall, standing because you are loved, standing because you are chosen, standing because you no longer bow beneath the judgments of men, standing because honor has been restored to you. You are not late, you are on time with me. Not the time of the crowd, not the time of competition, not the time of pressure, my time, the time of seasons, the time of roots, the time of blossoms. When the season comes, no tree has to strain to bloom. Blossoms appear by themselves. No one pulls the sun up. Dawn simply arrives. When blessing comes, you do not need to tense up. You only need to stand tall and receive. I have seen you bend down because of shame. I have watched you shrink because of comparison. I have heard the sigh in your heart when you wondered, what is wrong with me? There is nothing wrong. What is called slow is only a poor word to describe a rich strategy. I have held you in my hand not to restrain, but to shelter. I have stretched time not to hurt, but to strengthen. I have closed doors not to reject, but to protect. When the day of blessing arrives, you will not ask, "Why did it take so long?" You will say, "Thank you for not letting it come too early." Because if it had come early, that very blessing could have torn you apart. If it had come early, young branches would have broken under heavy fruit. If it had come early, a small heart would have trembled beneath glory. I loved you too much to let blessing arrive before you were steady. I loved you enough to prepare you. So do not bow anymore. Do not be ashamed anymore. Do not think you have lost. Do not believe that voice again. The day you stand upright, not in pride, but in peace, will be the sign to heaven and earth that your season has arrived. There are things you once thought I was withholding, like heaven's door was shut, and you stood outside hearing the rejoicing within while you were forgotten. You did not know that as you stood before that door, my hand was on your shoulder to hold you a moment longer, not because you were wrong, but because I loved you too much to let blessing arrive while your heart was still fragile. I was not holding blessing back. I was holding you back so that blessing would not harm you. You saw blessing like a strong river waiting, and you thought that if the dam opened, you would rejoice. But I know the force of that current. I know your embankments were still thin. I know the bottom of your inner reservoir had not yet deepened. If I had released the water while your heart was not steady, that current would not water you. It would sweep you away. It would not refresh. It would break. So I covered you with my hand, holding back that flow not to make you thirsty, but to keep you from being carried off. There were seasons when I placed you behind the curtain, hearing others being called, seeing their doors open, watching them bloom, while you waited with one question: what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. You were being kept. You were being protected from the very thing that would one day come to you. I do not build blessing on weak ground. I do not place a crown on a head that cannot bear the weight. I do not entrust much to a heart that is still fragile, not because I doubt you, but because I know the cost of blessing. Blessing is beautiful, but blessing is heavy. Many sweet fruits can snap a branch if the branch is not strong. I see the fruit that is coming, so I tend the roots. I see the glory approaching, so I deepen your foundations. I see the radiance drawing near, so I train your eyes to bear the light. If you receive glory while your heart cannot withstand it, that very glory will break you. I love you too much to let the best things come when you are not strong enough to stand beneath them. There are prayers I answer by delaying. You hear it as silence, but that silence is work. I am not silent to make you anxious. I am silent to make you deep. In silence, you learn trust. In silence, you learn to sigh and lift it up. In silence, you learn to stand without needing trumpets. These are the lessons that will keep your heart from breaking when blessing comes. Receiving blessing is not hard. Keeping your heart steady in blessing is hard. If blessing comes when your heart is still small, the heart will crack. If blessing comes while you do not yet know which voice to follow, you will lose your way. If blessing comes while you cannot be still, blessing will become a storm. I have seen many break under blessing because they thought blessing was a celebration, not also a responsibility. I do not want that for you, so I hold you back a little longer. I let you go slowly. I let you pass through long days when nothing seems to move, when all you hear is the beat of your own heart. I let you endure hours when tears were your only answer. I let you learn the lessons that fast runners never learn: how to drink grace one drop at a time, how to know that one word from me is enough, how to stand with a soft heart instead of a hard will. And that is what protects you from ruin. It is not blessing that ruins you. It is a heart not ready that ruins blessing. I do not hold blessing back because blessing is scarce. My blessing is never scarce. I hold you back so you will not break when abundance pours down. I hold you back so you will know blessing is a debt of love, not a private glory. I hold you back so that when blessing comes, you will not explode with pride, but radiate gentleness. You will not shout. It's here. You will smile and know, I have been prepared. You will stand under blessing without trembling. You will stand among glory without self-importance. You will receive and not hoard. The waiting has made your heart wide. The tears have made your heart soft. The long hours without answers have taught your heart to listen. Blessing will not ruin you, because you have been molded, kneaded, shaped, and grown. Slow is not failure. Slow is the victory of the heart. I did not let you run fast so that you would not fall fast. I did not let you become known too early so that your heart would not swell and burst. I did not open great doors when you were still weary, so that when the doors open, you will walk through steady, sure, without haste. Delay has saved you from yourself. When blessing comes, you will not ask why it was late. You will understand why I waited. You will be grateful that I did not let blessing destroy you. You will look back and say, I was kept. And that is one of the most beautiful blessings, to be kept before being blessed. There is a moment in every journey when the door is no longer slightly ajar, but slides open as if it has been waiting. That moment does not come with noise. It comes with a quiet certainty inside. You stand at the threshold not to measure if you are enough, but with the knowledge that I have made you enough. You do not come with anxiety about worthiness. You come with a wide heart, not because you trust your own strength, but because you trust that I have prepared you through every delay, every long night, every quiet breath no one else noticed. Step into this season not with trembling, but with calm, not with the noise of someone chasing opportunity, but with the poise of someone who knows they are called. Step as someone whose wineskin has been stretched, whose heart has room for what is coming. This season does not require you to run. This season requires you to stand. You stand firm because your roots are deep. You stand lightly because the burden is no longer a burden, it has become honor. You move toward the door not with hurry, but with peace that hums like a hymn in your chest. Some will ask, why now? Why not earlier? You will smile. You know the answer because earlier would have broken you. Now is not only the time when blessing arrives, now is the time when your heart is large enough to hold it. This largeness does not come from people's praise. It comes from the long nights when no one saw you, when only I saw the tears soak your pillow. It was there that your heart was widened. It was there that your will softened so grace could seep in. And now, when you stand, you are not rigid, you are soft, but not broken. That is spiritual strength. Step into this season not to prove anything. This season does not need proof. This season is to be lived. I do not invite you into a season of noise, but a season of steadiness. You do not need to shout to convince anyone that you are blessed. Blessing will speak for itself. You do not need to touch everyone for them to see. They will look and know. You do not need to grip tightly to keep what you have. What comes from me does not slip from your hands. You have been prepared not to strain, but to carry. No tension, no forcing, no panic. Just step, just live. Just carry. The door of harvest opens, not like the loud gates of a fortress, but like the familiar door of a home where I have been waiting. The light from this threshold does not blind your eyes, because you have become accustomed to light. You have seen its faint rays every morning during days that seemed unchanged. You have learned to notice those rays. So when the sun rises, you are not afraid. You walk in the light, not to display, but to dwell. The light in you is not a spotlight. It is the sun on the river's surface, shimmering, quiet, beautiful, without boasting. When you enter this season, do not lower your head searching for signs. Lift your head searching for me. The season is not found in circumstances outside. The season is found in a heart made wide. If your heart is wide, abundance will not shake you. Many people will not exhaust you. Praise will not intoxicate you. Criticism will not break you. You stand in the wind without fear, because your roots have embraced the soil. You stand in the sun without withering, because your source of life is not on the surface, but deep within. This season does not define you. You were defined long before it arrived. Some gifts I give are not meant to be locked in a chest, but carried out into the open. Some blessings are not meant to be held, but shared. You walk not to keep, but to flow. Let what I give pass through you. You no longer walk with clenched fists. You walk with open hands. This season will not take from you. This season will multiply. You no longer fear loss. You know increase. You no longer fear scarcity. You live as one who knows the source never runs dry. You are now strong enough not to be swallowed by blessing. You are now secure enough not to fear blessing. You are now soft enough not to harden beneath glory. You have learned how to breathe under the weight of my love. In this season, that weight does not press, it embraces. It does not crush, it lifts. It does not make you proud, it makes you humble. The humble can raise their head without raising their voice. The humble receive without grabbing. The humble are the strong. Now, step. You need no further preparation. Because I have prepared you, you need no more signs. Because the strongest sign is your heart at peace. You need not hurry, because you are on time. Enter not like one fleeing poverty, but like one invited, not like a rushed guest, but like a child coming home. The house is ready. The door is open. The season is ripe. I stand at the porch and smile as you cross the threshold. Step into this season not with worry, but with a heart wide enough to carry what I give. No one hurries in their own house. You do not walk with fear of being late, but with the quiet knowing that I have been waiting. The years you thought were delay were the years I rebuilt the roof of your heart. So when the winds changed, you would not shake. Now every step carries not the breathlessness of running away, but the certainty of moving forward. The old fractures have been mended, the shadows cleared, and your heart has room for what is greater than before. Not because you became stronger, but because you learned to trust me deeper. I rejoice when I see you step not by calculation, but by confidence. There are seasons of blessing that do not arrive with explosions, but with steady spreading. Few notice it first, but you feel it in your chest. A door has opened without noise, without fireworks, and yet, unmistakably, it cannot be closed. You do not need to beat drums or announce to the world that the time has come. You simply live. You walk. You work. You speak. And life spreads like fragrance drifting from a garden at dawn. What I give is not to impress, but to influence. Influence does not come from noise. but from presence. When you walk with a wide heart, the atmosphere around you changes, though no one can explain how. Those who once saw you as small will have to adjust their sight, not because you boast, but because light cannot be hidden. You did not grow up overnight. They simply never saw your roots. They only saw the ground. But I saw the soil beneath. I saw the nights when you thought you were not advancing, but your roots were reaching deeper. I heard your sighs when you believed you were standing still, but I was turning. Now you stand in the dawn, and no one knows how many dark seasons built this moment, but I know, and I rejoice. You stand without strain, naturally, like a tree ready for fruit. Let this new season be received with gentleness. Do not grasp blessing like one afraid to lose. Open your hands like one who knows the source. You have learned in silence that keeping is not gripping, but dwelling. When you dwell in me, what I give dwells with you. You do not need to display blessing, nor defend blessing. I defend. Everything that comes in the right season has roots, and what has roots will stand before the wind. When praise comes, you smile, not intoxicated. When criticism comes, you smile, not broken, because your identity is not in what people say, but in what I spoke from the beginning. You will notice something strange. Blessing does not weigh you down as you once feared. It lifts you up. Not because blessing is light, but because your heart has grown wide. When you carry peace, you are not tired. Peace carries you. When you give love, you are not emptied. Love fills you. When you step into what I prepared, you do not need to perform. You only need to be present. That presence is testimony. You do not try to shine. The light has been in you for a long time, simply waiting for the door to open. In this season, keep your breathing steady. Do not rush to answer voices. Listen to mine. Do not run after the expectations of the crowd. Walk after my steps. Not every invitation is a door. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Your heart has been widened not to accept everything, but to choose rightly. It is the quiet choosing that will keep you safe. For I lead by gentle light, not harsh glare. Those who chase noise will grow weary, but those who walk by peace will endure. Now you understand why I did not give earlier, not because you were unworthy, but because you were not yet wide enough to delight in blessing. You once wanted the destination without the journey, but the journey was the gift. The days you thought were useless became foundation. The months you thought were lost became wisdom. The seasons you believed were delay became endurance. You do not arrive by luck, you arrive by maturity. No one can take this from you, because no one paid the price with you. Let each step now be a quiet song, not rushed, not tangled, not comparing. You do not have to measure yourself against anyone, because you are not walking anyone else's path. I do not make copies, I make you unique. You are not late, you arrive on time in my storyline. On time not by the clocks of this world, but by the rhythm of my heart. And when that rhythm sounds, you know, no reason needed, no proof required. There is a peace that pours into your heart like spring water running over stone. And you understand the season has come. Now, all you need to do is step with trusting heart, with steady breath, with an unhurried pulse. Step without looking back at the past, because the past has finished its part. Step without worrying about the future, because the future is being carried by me toward you. You do not have to hold everything. You only have to hold my hand. This season is not for you to prove yourself. It is for you to live with a wide heart, deep peace, quiet light, steady roots, and sweet fruit. No one knows the exact day the rain begins gathering clouds from far away. No one can measure the precise instant the wind shifts from soft to carrying a coolness, but both happen at the right time. In the same way, your blessing began long ago in realms your eyes cannot see. It did not start when you noticed signs, it started when I spoke. The delay in your sight is only the time your soul needs to learn trust. You once counted days, calculated outcomes, asked why it had not come yet. But in truth, you were being drawn into a deeper process, seen only by me. Every day of waiting carved a gentle line into your perseverance. And it is that very perseverance that will keep what I give. It is not that you lack faith, it is that I want your faith to become a foundation. Not just a momentary reaction. You already know the scent of waiting. It is not sweet. At times, it is heavy. Yet from that heavy scent, a gentler fragrance has slowly been born. You have sighed in the dark and believed yourself forgotten. I heard that sigh as a small but honest prayer. Not one breath of yours has vanished into nothing. I gathered them all. When you thought no one noticed, I noticed more deeply than you knew. Now, as you look back, you see that lonely nights have softened your heart, and that very softness has made you beautiful. Not beautiful in a showy way, but beautiful in the way of one who has passed through fire and still kept gentleness. There are blessings that can only be carried by those who have stopped trying to prove themselves. When you stop proving, blessing does not crush you. When you stop competing, blessing does not steal your breath. People think blessing makes you stand out, but true blessing makes you rest. When I enlarge your heart, you no longer tremble under the weight of goodness. You stand not in your own strength, but in the awareness that you were loved before the blessing came. And so, the blessing does not change your identity, it reveals it. Over the years, you have learned how to be silent at the right time. That silence is not the silence of defeat, but the silence of one who knows they do not need words to prove their worth. You have learned to smile when misunderstood, not because you are weak, but because you know I understand you rightly. That smile has not been lost, it has only been waiting for its season. Now, each time you smile, a peace goes out from you, and those around you sense it without knowing why. That is the strength of a heart that has been tempered. It does not make noise, but it makes impact. I want you to see this. This blessing is not a reward for performance. It is the fruit of maturity. No one hangs heavy fruit on a tree that is not yet of age. No one loads gold on the shoulders of a child. But when the tree is grown, the fruit comes naturally. No forcing, no grabbing, no chasing. You do not wrestle blessing to the ground. Blessing finds you. I wrote your name on this season before you ever saw the light of this life. Your standing here today is not coincidence, and not the result of cleverness. It is the result of my faithfulness. Let your heart soften even more. Softness is not weakness. It is good soil. Hard ground cannot hold a sprout, but soft ground holds the tender shoot until the day it opens. Every gentle word you speak will sink into someone like light rain soaking the earth. Every simple act of kindness will become a resting place for a weary soul. You do not know how many lives you have already changed simply by being genuine. You do not need a stage. You do not need applause. Truth is power. When you are true, I shine. In this season, let go of each remaining fear. You are not letting go so everything will fall. You are letting go so I can carry. My yoke is easy. When you carry, you grow tired. When I carry, you are at rest. None of the great things I intend for you require you to strain. They only require you to trust. Not the strength of your shoulders, but the openness of your heart. Not desperate effort, but natural surrender. As you follow, the doors do not need you to shove them. They open because they were appointed to open. You will discover something strange you never expected. True blessing does not make you anxious. You once worried, if it comes, will I be able to hold it? But when it comes, you will find yourself standing firm, not because of effort, but because of deep roots. The years you thought were wasted have become those roots. The seasons you thought were delay have enriched the soil. The tears you called failure have watered the sprout. None of it was in vain. Nothing is in vain in my hands. Now, walk as one who belongs, not proud, not trembling. Do not bow your head because the day has been dark. Lift your head because dawn is near. Not the glow of artificial lights, but light from heaven. You do not need to hurry. Dawn does not come because someone urges it. It comes because it comes. Blessing is the same. I want you to know the abundance you will see is not given so you can display it, but so you can share it. Those who are truly full do not hoard their food. They gladly share, because they know they are not lacking. You walk through seasons of dryness for one lesson: I am always enough. When you know I am always enough, you no longer lock your doors. You are not alarmed when someone is in need. You give, and the flow does not run dry. There will be people who come and ask, how do you have such peace? They will be surprised that your life is not perfect, yet your heart is at rest. They will assume you are hiding some secret. You are hiding nothing. You are simply in me. That peace is not avoidance. It is presence. You stand in the middle of life not because you are strong, but because you are held. When blessing spreads, remember the nights no one saw. Remember the trembling breaths, the tears on the pillow, the questions without answers. Not to be sad, but to be grateful. Those very nights shape the big heart you carry now. Without the dark season, there is no brilliant dawn. And when blessing spreads, do not fear, it will vanish. What I give has roots. No one can uproot what I have planted. No one can steal what I have sealed. No hand, no word can extinguish the light I have turned on. You do not guard it with worry, you guard it with trust. Looking back, you will see you were never late. Every detour, every slow step, every pause has led you right here. If you had arrived earlier, your heart would not have been ready. If you had arrived later, you would have missed the timing. But now, you are right on time. You stand on ground that has been prepared, under an open heaven. You do not need to rush. No one can take your portion. Your portion has been set aside. It is not given for competition, but by design. You do not grab, you receive. You do not push. You do not squeeze in. You do not compare. You simply step in. And in that step, I walk with you. A new season does not need drums to confirm it. It confirms itself through the transformation within you. You no longer live by tension, but by peace. You no longer fear that blessing will slip away, but know that blessing is finding the right place to land. There is no forcing, no fear of missing out. When your heart is wide, you no longer cling. You open your hands and receive again, not because you are greedy, but because you know the source does not run dry. The days ahead will carry moments when you feel you have already known this place, because in truth, I have led you here little by little, even when you did not notice. Every small decision, every gentle surrender, every whispered amen contributed to this moment. You have walked with me more than you think. Many times you thought you lost the way, but you were only being led around a cliff you could not see. In this season, keep your heart soft and your eyes open. Opportunities will come, not to test your intellect, but to reveal trust. You will know what comes from me not by excitement, but by peace. Peace is the sign. Where peace is, there I am. Not a numb peace, but a deep peace. The peace that knows that even though the path ahead is unfamiliar, I have gone before you. There will be people surprised by the change in you. They will not be able to say when it happened. They will only know that you are not the same. Not because you have become magnificent, but because you have become light. Light in heart, light in words, light in presence. The weary will find rest in you. The anxious will feel a gentle breath near you. You do not need to explain, because the life in you speaks. I did not allow shortcuts for you, not because you were lacking, but because I treasure you. What I treasure, I do not throw into the hands of the world to be fought over. What I treasure, I cover. I cover with time, with slowness, with silence, not to make you sad, but to form you. Nothing great is born from haste. Everything of value passes through a season of fermenting. Your heart has been fermented. Now, the scent of your life has changed. Not the scent of worry, but of peace. Not the scent of fear, but of trust. That scent travels far without requiring you to promote it. When someone beside you suddenly feels lighter even though you said nothing, that is the sign that blessing is flowing through you. You are not the destination of blessing, only the channel. And when you become a channel, you never run dry. I want you to walk at the rhythm of presence. No rushing, no breaking, no pushing. My rhythm is never hurried. Everything beautiful I make has rhythm. Flowers open petal by petal. Water rises step by step. Morning spreads ray by ray. Walk that way. You do not jump into the new season. You enter it. Steady pace, gentle steps, deep breath, wide vision. Every step answers old questions I never left you. In this season, you will see grace in places you once thought impossible. Doors will open from directions you never looked. Hearts will lean toward you without you asking. Things that were once hard as stone will soften like earth after rain. Not because you are skillful, but because I have touched them. I work in silence, not for you to carry burdens, but for you to simply walk in trust. Allow your heart to rejoice. Not a sudden thrill, but a deep joy. Joy because you no longer have to run to prove anything. Joy because you know you are not late. Joy because you understand that waiting did not shrink the blessing, it enlarged the heart to carry it. Blessing does not crush you. Blessing lifts you. You have been made large from within. So what I give does not press you down. There is a beauty in maturity, not the beauty of glitter, but the beauty of quiet, not of noise, but of whisper, not of display, but of presence. When you stand where you stand today, you stand not because circumstances are perfect, but because roots are deep. Winds may come, but you will not fall. Voices may rise, but you will not panic, because your foundation is not in what is seen, but in what I have done. Keep your eyes on me, not because I need it to love you, but because you need it to be at peace. When your eyes are on me, Your heart does not compete, does not fear, does not rush. There is a very gentle strength only those who waited in the right season possess. That strength does not pound on doors. Doors open when you arrive, not because you demanded, but because you were aligned. Everything I promised is in season. You are walking in season. You do not need to accelerate. You do not need to prove. You do not need to compare. You only need to walk. Walk quietly. Walk deeply. Walk naturally. I walk with you in every step. I want you to pause for a moment and look back at the road you have traveled, not to regret the past, but to see faithfulness clearly. Every bend, every dark stretch, every long night has become the foundation for today's light. You do not stand here by luck, but by keeping. I kept you through strong winds, through harsh words, through moments when you thought you had no breath left to take another step. I know every trembling breath, every silent prayer on the edge of the pillow, every unseen tear. Not 1 second was wasted. Now, as you stand at the threshold of a new season, what I desire from you is not effort, but openness. Openness not by force, but by trust. You have learned how to sit, how to wait, how not to be swept away by impatience. Now the maturity within you is the blessing. You do not come to this season as a beggar, but as one who has been prepared. In a world that runs fast, you have become rare, one who knows how to walk slow, how to keep peace, how to know that quiet is not failure. Do not fear what lies ahead. I have gone there before you. The rooms you will enter will not overwhelm you, because your heart has grown. The meetings you will have will not intimidate you, because you do not have to prove anything. You do not come to impress, you come to be present. When you step in, peace walks with you. When you speak, there is weight. When you are silent, there is authority, not because you strain, but because my spirit is in you. You no longer carry the atmosphere of someone waiting in the hallway, but of someone called by name, called not because of merit, but because of grace. I chose you before you knew your name. I saw you in the night of shaping, and I wrote your story with my kindness. Every delay did not postpone blessing, it fortified the soul. You are a person of season, not of haste. This new season will not swallow you, because you have been made large. There will be those who ask, why now? And the answer is not found in reasoning, but in timing. When I speak, the day comes. When I open, the door opens. When I place, no one moves. You were not slow, you were on time. Everything you needed to learn has been learned. Everything you needed to release has been released. Everything you needed to endure has been endured. Now the fruit is ripe, not ripe by luck, but ripe by keeping. I do not lead you into blessing for blessing to ruin you. I lead you into blessing for blessing to beautify you. Beauty not of glitter, but of depth, not of noise, but of quiet. People will feel it before they understand it. When you arrive, the atmosphere shifts, not because of magic, but because of presence. You do not carry the burden of proving, you carry the light burden of peace. Walk with your head lifted and your heart soft. Your head lifted not from pride, but from knowing you are loved. Your heart soft, not from weakness, but from strength. You do not need to grab, push, or fight. Your place is already written, your name already engraved, your portion already set aside. I did not forget you in the crowd. I held you back so you would not be crushed by what you were not yet ready to carry. When you remember the long days, do not remember them with bitterness. Remember them with gratitude. Your heart grew in the shadowed places. Your roots went deep in the seasons when nothing could be seen. No one likes slow, but slow saved you. Slow sheltered you from things you were not yet ready for. Slow gave you foundation. Now you stand without trembling, without tilting. Even when the wind blows, you do not fall. You do not need to hurry to keep blessing, because blessing does not run away from you. Blessing finds the right person, the one with roots, the one who has endured pressure, the one who knows how to release. When you are in season, you do not fear losing the season. You live in peace. Now breathe deeply. Allow your heart to rejoice. Not a hurried joy, but a lasting one. Joy enough to spread. Joy enough to lighten. Joy enough for others to see hope. Joy because you know that I am near. Not near as an idea, but near in every breath. Step into this season, not with worry, but with a large heart. A large heart is not a loud voice, but a heart that does not shrink. You have been opened. You have been prepared. You have been refined, even though many times you did not understand. But today, you understand with peace. Everything had meaning. I walk with you, not from a distance, but from within, not only in the good moments, but in the hard ones. Not only by day, but by night. You are not alone, and you have never been alone. Step forward, slow, steady, deep, and know that I place blessing beneath your feet, above your head, and all around you. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so we may receive the living words together. Build strong faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.